Morning. The following video contains some gruesome imagery. Yeah, we've got aliens bursting out of folks' torsos. Yeah. Oh, there'll be a hint. Just a hint of lewd themes, not too lewd, but we'll be discussing whether or not aliens do look like Todgers. So, I don't know if that is lewd or not, but it is a bit. Anyway, yeah, there's your warning. Oh, there'll probably be some spoilers and all, yeah. Oh, yeah. Morning, Rayvers. Just awaken from my hypersleep.
Yeah, wakey, rise and shine, Raymondo.
Me and Nick are here on the spaceship Nostromo on our way home after an intergalactic shopping trip. And if you ain't already guessed, this week we're going to be revisiting the world of Alien. Now, some of you long-standing ravers may well remember that I've looked at the Alien universe before, but I just took a very brief look at the old franchise. Didn't do any of the individual films justice, so thought it was worth a revisit. And you might also remember that it was the Alien review, the Alien review, where it turned out I'd had an alien gestating inside me, and it popped out my chest at the end of the video. And that was Ickle Ray!
Was indeed, Raymondo, yes.
You ready to take a look at Alien, Ickle Ray?
Crack on, Raymondo.
Well, we kick off with this blurb about this spaceship, the Nostromo, returning to Earth after lugging millions of tons worth of minerals across the galaxy. But the spaceship seems to be deserted. We get some very eerie photography as the camera seemingly working its way around this deserted ship. So straight away, this feels like a haunted house. It really does. But then the computer kicks into life and all the systems start up again. And we see that the crew has actually been in hypersleep, having a kip. Don't know how long they've been out for, but bet the queue for the bathroom would be long. They'd all be pissing like racehorses. Now, I've heard folk compare Alien to Outland, the 1981 sci-fi western starring Sean Connery, which I've reviewed before.
He's an arsehole.
And folks say that Outland is almost the spiritual sequel to Alien, because the universe feels pretty similar. Yeah, the clothing, the technology, all that sort of stuff. But then you realise there's loads of similarities. In both films, the titles slowly emerge, accompanied by some eerie music. Both scores done by Jerry Goldsmith. Sung his praises many times, but again, brilliant. His music in Alien, really very good. And also we get these blurbs at the start, explaining what's going on. So yeah, it does feel very similar. If you ever get time to watch Outland, you'll see what folk mean when they say it feels like an unofficial sequel. Yeah, I'd love to have seen Connery battering the alien. Check that, you arsehole. Yeah, that'd have been great. Anyway, we get to meet the crew of the Nostromo while they're having the breakfast. Surprised that John Hurt's allowed to smoke at the breakfast table. Obviously the smoking ban has been rescinded by whatever year this film is set. But two of the crew members, Yaphet Kotto of Live and Let Die fame and Harry Dean Stanton, they look like they're a regular pain in Captain Tom Skerritt's arse. Yeah, always quoting union rules at him.
Before we dock, I think we ought to discuss the bonus situation.
Right.
Brett and I, we think we deserve full shares, right, baby?
They're basically the equivalent of Vic and Bernie from Carry On At Your Convenience.
But I seem to remember that you got very upset when they banned you women from wearing trousers. What do you say to that?
Down with them! I didn't mean down with the trousers.
Now, it turns out the ship's computer, Mother, has woken the crew up, not because they're near home, but because of a distress signal that's come from a spaceship on a nearby planet.
There is a clause in the contract which specifically states any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated.
I don't want to hear it.
We don't know that's intelligent.
I want to go home and party.
Now, obviously, Vic and Bernie not happy with that. They just want to go home.
On penalty of total forfeiture of shares. Money.
You got that?
Yeah.
All right, we're going in.
So, Tom Skerritt's Captain Dallas along with John Hurt's Kane and Veronica Cartwright's Lambert, head out onto this alien planet to try and find the source of this distress signal. And they discover this weird alien spacecraft, all abandoned and derelict. But it doesn't look like their spacecraft. No, it looks very weird, a bit organic, if you will. And things start to get weirder when they climb up into this room with what looks like the skeleton of a gigantic bloke sat in this chair, completely out of proportion with them. I wonder if the set designers did a reverse spinal tap here and got the dimensions wrong. You know, instead of making a Stonehenge set too small, they've made this alien corpse set far too big. Anyway, things get even weirder when John Hurt gets lowered down into this other room that seems to be housing thousands and thousands of these giant eggs.
And it's full of leathery objects like eggs or something.
Yeah, eggs. He's established that they're eggs. I mean, I don't really know what he's thinking. He's on an alien planet. They're not in the bloody Cadbury's cream eggs, are they? Yeah, everybody knows eggs are fragile. You always have to check the box for a cracked egg before you pop them in your supermarket trolley. So what's he start doing? Bumbling around like an oaf. I'm not sure that displaying this level of clumsiness is advisable when you're surrounded by hundreds of alien eggs.
Okay, I just slipped.
Mind you, presumably this is set hundreds if not thousands of years in the future. So maybe this bloke doesn't understand what eggs are and that creatures tend to hatch out of eggs. But when he takes a closer look, I mean, God knows why he's taking a closer look, but he is, we see what looks like a pair of marigold washing up gloves being wiggled about.
Organic life.
Yes, organic life, something that's alive. So when the egg opens up, what's the natural thing that we'd all do? Yeah, stick our head in to have a proper good nosy. Well, you deserve that, mate, for being a pillock. Now, when they return to the ship, the second in command, Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, demonstrates her leadership skills here because she says, no, you're not coming in, no.
If we let it in, the ship could be infected. You know the quarantine procedure.
24 hours for decontamination.
But Captain Dallas is adamant that she's got to let him back in so they can look after Kane. He says, oh no, he's just eating a whole box of Cadbury's cream eggs. You've got to get him in, otherwise he'll be ill. But Ripley sticks to her guns.
No.
I can't do that, and if you were in my position, you'd do the same.
So while we learn that Ripley's a strong character who won't be easily swayed by morons, we also find out that the science officer Ash, played by Ian Holm, is an arsehole. He just lets him in. Pillock, anybody who's ever seen a science fiction film knows you have to do with the quarantine. So Kane is now on board the ship with this horrible looking parasite stuck to his fizzog, and when they try to remove it, it turns out it's got acid for blood.
It's got a wonderful defense mechanism. You don't dare kill it.
So they're absolutely screwed here. There's this alien stuck to his face, and how are they going to get it off? There's no way of getting it. Oh, it's come off and appears to be very dead. Oh, great. Let's all have a bite to eat before we get back in the hypersleep pods and go home. Yeah, what comes now is perhaps one of the most memorable scenes in movie history. And that ain't a smoker's cough because of all them cigarettes he was chuffing on earlier. No, unfortunately for Kane, a nickel todgy-shaped alien bursts out of his chest. Oh, disgusting. I like the way he moves across the table though, doesn't he? I wonder how they've done that. I don't know if they've wound him up and got, like a wind-up toy and they've just let him go. Or whether he's on a couple of string or something. They've just yanked him across the table. Doesn't move naturally, does he? But I think that's quite endearing. So now, with one of the crew members dead, they've got to try and hunt down this ickle alien and kill it off before it does anybody else in. But it's wishful thinking with them cackle prods because the alien grows pretty quick. And it ain't an ickle fella just whizzing across the table. No, it's giant and starts noshing off the crew. Now, like any haunted house film, the crew gets bumped off one by one. But what's particularly clever is some of the big guns go pretty early on, which means there's a real sense of jeopardy. Nobody's safe. If Captain Dallas is going to get got, everybody's stuffed. Now, this is a very good film, this. Director Ridley Scott, whose most famous work up to this point were probably the Ovis advert, he builds attention brilliantly. And we see things like the tracking device. Is this the first film that uses this trope, the tracking device? Well, you see the thing coming to get you? Rayvers, you'll be able to put me right. You'll be able to say if any other films have done it before this, but I reckon this might be the first one. But they've been used in loads of films since, ain't they, Chackers? And obviously, there's a massive amount of imagination has gone into the design of the aliens. And the bloke responsible was this fella, H.R. Geiger, whose weird designs were the inspiration for the alien. A lot of folk have said that the alien looks like a Todger. Admittedly, the ickle one that bursts out of the chest does look a bit Todger-like. But I think folk reckon the big alien looks like a Todger. I know he's got this sort of vaguely phallic-shaped head, but I've said it before, if your Todger looks like that, you need to get checked out. But yeah, some nightmarish imagery from this Geiger bloke. I mean, I dread to think what's going on in his head. Yeah, if a kid drew something like that at school, the teachers have to get the parents in. But when an adult does it, he's heralded as some creative visionary, when maybe it should be in prison. Now, some proper good actors in this. I think I've mentioned Veronica Cartwright before, but I don't know if anybody does Out and Out Terrified as well as her. Because she were in Body Snatchers as well, we saw that. And I didn't know until recently she were in The Birds. So by this point, she were an old hand at displaying abject terror on screen. Ian Holm is great as always. And his performance subtly changes because he's always acting dead shifty. And you're not sure why he keeps making loads of seemingly crap decisions.
Well, it's an interesting combination of elements, making him a tough little son of a bitch.
And you let him in.
And then it turns out he's a robot who's been told to deliberately secure the alien for the purposes of the evil company, and the crew are expendable. Well, once the rest of the crew find out, it all kicks off. Ooh, look at that. It looks like he's got milk pissing out of him, doesn't it? Now, he's had many fantastic acting performances Ian Holm, but I don't reckon any of them would surpass this. Must have had to do countless takes there, covered in manky milk. Oh, it must have absolutely reeked. And of course, we're going to start making turn from Sigourney Weaver. Her first big role. She's become a mainstay in Hollywood ever since, hasn't she? Brilliant in this. But perhaps the biggest star to emerge from this film were the alien itself. And I think he's perhaps been a bit misunderstood, the alien. Because actually, he doesn't go around killing the crew. It's only when the crew go disturbing him that he noshes them off. And he ain't been alive that long. He's probably like a moody teenager at this point, wants his cape. Don't want to be disturbed, does he? Yeah, I remember trying to wake Dino up when he was a teenager. Knocking on, going, bloody hell, get up, you lazy bugger, it's 3 PM, what are you doing? And at best he might wave an arm at you and go, ooh, and grunt a bit if you were lucky. And it'd been a right mad. Well, that's what this fella's like, isn't it? Yeah, if somebody fired a flamethrower up your jacksie, you'd probably get pretty negged off and all. Okeydoo, on to Ray's ratings. Well, horror films ain't really my cup of tea. I do get the willies quite easily. Dino and Maxine love them, but me and Denise not so much. But a load of folk had raved about it, so, you know, hoping for a 3-star film. Now, I'm not a fan of horror films, but as horror films go, oh, this is very good. Very good indeed. Reinvents the haunted house genre, and there's some very imaginative design with the aliens and all that sort of stuff, and the facehugger thing. Very clever. And there's some great actors in it and all. And Ridley Scott, he does build the tension very well, keeps you on the edge of your seat. You don't know who's going to cop it, you know. Very good film, this. So I'm rating Alien a 4.5 star, 3-star film. Now, it were a while before they did a sequel. But instead of being an haunted house film, it was like a war movie, an action movie, where the Marines are taking on the aliens. Another gripping film. Really is exciting. And because that one was successful, well, inevitably the sequels kept coming, didn't they? They had 3, which, yeah, a bit underwhelming. 4, which I ain't seen, but led to believe it's a bit naff. Then they paired the alien up, scrapping with the Predators. Did a couple of them. Then they did some prequels. Yeah, I weren't too impressed with them, to be honest. And then last year they had another one out. Folk just can't get enough of aliens, can they? Or studios can't get enough of making money out of them. So, yeah, the alien saga, it just goes on, goes on and on.
Sound like you've got a nasty cough there, Raymondo.
Yeah, I have, yeah. I'm coming down with something.
Well, just count yourself lucky you've not got these horrific chest pains that I've got. Help! Oh! 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 I help!
Oh, bloody hell. How's the chesticle, Ray?
It stings a bit, but it does feel a lot better, thanks to the wonders of Elastoplast.
Oh, good-o, good-o. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review of Alien Rayvers.
I enjoyed it, it was great, it was brilliant!
Yeah, and if you did, poke the old like button for me, give it a good old poke. Maybe get one of them electric cackle prod things, what they were trying to poke the alien with. Poke it with that.
Yeah, poke it with that! Hey, brilliant, yeah!
Oh, okay. Yeah, share, rate reviews with your mates if you ain't already, and subscribe to the channel if you ain't already a subscriber. Much appreciated.
I'll subscribe!
Now, if you fancy seeing Alien and Aliens on the big screen, then my good friends at the Loft Movie Theatre have organised a double header at the Savoy Cinema in Nottingham, Saturday 26th of April. I'll pop a link in the description below to get your tickets.
Oh, sounds brilliant! Get tickets for that! Yeah!
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, get tickets for that. It'll be a great night, that, but they're going quick. So, snooze, you lose.
Yeah, snooze, you lose. Don't snooze! Don't fall asleep! Oh, no!
Now, copyright box permitting, I'll be back with another review for you very soon.
Oh, another review! Brilliant! Brilliant!
Diddy Ray, you got a lot of energy, mate.
I have. Full of beans!
Are you like this all day?
Well, I'm full of energy because I have a very short life cycle, so I've got to make the most of everything.
How short's your life cycle?
I reckon that's probably about it.
Oh, thank God for that.
Couldn't agree more, Mondo.